Hi, this is Papa G and welcome to Papa Can Cook. Today we're going to be making chicken cacciatore. It's an Accardi family recipe. Now if you've gone to a restaurant and ordered chicken cacciatore, it almost always comes with a red sauce. Well, this is not a red sauce, this is a white sauce. And it's absolutely delicious. This is something that Marion, my wife, and her father showed me how to make years ago. And we've made it for as long as I remember. It's a really great, fairly simple recipe. I'll show you the ingredients. It has some vegetables, some celery, carrots, an onion, some garlic, mushrooms, about a pound of sliced mushrooms, some prosciutto. I always get boar's head because boar's head, everything that boar's head makes is gluten-free, so you never have to worry about it. So I get the prosciutto from them. It's going to require some chicken broth, again Swanson, which is gluten-free. A little bit of flour, basically just to thicken the sauce. And of course the star of the meal, which is the chicken. And I have this chicken, I bought a whole chicken and cut it up what we always called cacciatore style. And Marion's father showed me how to cut it. Basically that just means that the pieces are cut small. So I take off the legs and the thighs, I cut them into the wings. I split the two pieces of the wings. I'll take the breasts and depending on how large they are, either cut them into 3 or 4 pieces. So they're all small pieces, and we'll be cooking with them, and then we'll be eating them separate from the pasta. And then the pasta, it's supposed to be, the recipe calls for what they call margherita, which is it's like a fettuccine that's curly on one side, but there's no way I'm going to find that gluten-free. So I use this here from Le Venetian, which I get imported from Italy. It's called fettuccine, and it looks like a fettuccine, and it works very well with this recipe. And it's going to require obviously some salt and pepper for seasoning, and some red pepper, and it also calls for dry vermouth. I'm going to use a little bit of that, or you could use dry white wine, or if you prefer a non-alcoholic version, there are a couple things you can use as a substitute. I have them listed on my site as various substitutions for non-alcoholic additions to a meal. So that's it. That's the oh, one other thing. When my wife Marion told me about this, she said that when she was young, her father used to make rabbit cacciatore. That's not something that you can get as easily. I'm not sure where they got it. I don't know if because I know they were hunters. I don't know if they brought it home from hunting or he just got it from the meat market because he was a butcher. But he used to make rabbit cacciatore, which I understand is very, very sweet. Anyway, that's it. That's the ingredients. I'll come back after I've prepared some of the ingredients, and we'll start to cook it. The vegetables are prepared. And actually what I put in the bowl here is I put the finely chopped onions, carrots, and celery, the minced garlic, and the prosciutto that I chopped up. So it's all in here together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about half of this in the pan that has light olive oil. I'll set this aside, and I'm going to put the chicken in the pan with it. I'm putting the same type of meat. There's all the breast pieces in together. That way they'll cook at the same time. And you want to brown them well. You're not going to completely cook the chicken because you're going to bake this afterwards, but you want to
You want to be able to brown it well, partially cooked. I have another casserole, and when the chicken is done, I'm going to take the chicken out, put it in the casserole, keep the vegetables in for now until I'm finished with all the chicken. Once that's done, I'm going to put all the vegetables that are in here, plus the other half of chopped vegetables and prosciutto, in this baking dish, and I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil and put it in the oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees. It'll stay like that for about a half an hour. Then I'm going to take the cover off. At that point, I'm going to put the red pepper in, and I'm going to put. I'm not using the vermouth. I'm making this alcohol free, so I'm going to use a mixture of white grape juice with. It's going to be a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and that's a good substitute without the alcohol. I'll put that in, let it sit in the oven for another half an hour, and then take it out. In the meantime, I'll be cooking the, one other thing. I have in this pot over here, I have the chicken broth. I put the chicken broth, I brought with the flour, I brought it to a boil and then turned it off. So when I put everything into this casserole, I'm also going to put the chicken broth in. So it'll be a lot of broth. In the meantime, or towards the end of the baking, I'm going to be cooking the macaroni. When the macaroni is al dente, I'm going to take the chicken out of the casserole, put that in a separate serving platter, and now I'll have a lot of sauce, the white sauce, and I can transfer the drained pasta into a bowl and put the sauce on top of it, and we'll be done. I'll show you what it'll look like afterwards. So remember, the steps are fry the chicken, put half of the chopped vegetables and prosciutto in here, fry the chicken, then transfer everything plus the other half of the vegetables into a casserole, add the chicken broth, cover it, and put it in the oven at 350 degrees. After half an hour, remove the cover, put the red pepper in, white wine or substitute if that's what you're going to use, and then let it sit for another half an hour with the cover off in the oven. And then that's done. Then you make the macaroni in the meantime. The pasta is done. You take the chicken out of the casserole and you use what's left, which is the sauce, to pour onto the drains macaroni. And that's it. Next, I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. We're having it for dinner today to celebrate Jennifer's birthday. That'll be nice.